All right. It is time for a big best of 5 quarterfinal series here from the Cheesadelphia finals event. This was on over the weekend. It was a big event. A good solid prize pool, $3.5 grand for first place. And this was meant to be one of the most action-packed series where the players kind of went for each other's throats and tried to finish it off quickly. Up here in the top left-hand side in the red, it is Armani. Of course, Armani has really been making a name for himself and kind of finally coming out of the shadows of his, I guess his, being known as just a B-teamer. He's like, oh yeah, he's good for practice. He'll do builds and you can play against them and that's it. He's finally actually getting really deep in GSLs and things and starting to kick some butts, so can't wait to see him evolve as a player. He's probably very sad though. His friendly roommate, Mr. Special, is, no doubt, an interesting character there in the house with him. Can't imagine what it would be like with living with Special, but I imagine you'd have someone talking to you about Pokemon probably 23 hours a day, and occasionally playing some practice games with you. But it is what it is. Anyways, down here in the bottom right, this is the guy I'm always excited to watch because he keeps things action-packed, fast-paced, and he has a huge variety of build orders. It's none other than Team Liquid's Clem. Clem rising through the ranks, and as someone in Twitch chat was just saying to me, he is now the creme de la Clem of the European scene, often performing better than Raynor and Serral and the like in many tournaments over the last 6 months, so it's really starting to kick some butts. Still struggling a lot of the time with the very tippity top Korean players, but against someone like Armani, I really do think Clem actually comes in as a favorite. Not an overwhelming favorite, but definitely a favorite. Armani, though, has some of the tightest openings in the book. Now, interesting, check this out. Armani's actually got Overlord just sitting on the pervert pillar in the middle of the map, so a real conservative Overlord. Very hard for you to get out there and snipe that as the Terran player. And it's sending a second Overlord across that looks like it might want to sacrifice through the main base around that 4-minute mark. Get a little bit of scouting there without having to invest in Overlord speed. A nice quick third hatchery has gone down. So this was third hatchery before Overlord. So this was the 27 hatchery into the Overlord, then going back to droning style, and only then starting circling speed. Now, these 4-lings, they do damage the Reaper a lot, but they pay a price for it. Reaper does get 1 kill. Ooh, wants to deny the creep tumor, but Armani, ooh, nestles that nice and far back. The Queen runs forward, though, and does not want to trade the Reaper for that creep tumor. Back at home, reactors on the way, factory, and just 1 gas straight into third command center. So Clem going to delay the Hellions a little bit by spending the minerals on the orbital, the third CC. It's going to be a gigantic economy opening into just an onslaught of bio parading across that map. A big mineral boost. And already into the starport behind that. We'll see a tech lab go down in a moment, ready to swap those over. And then going up to 3 barracks, 2 engineering bays. It's a very powerful build order, and if you don't see this coming as the ZERG, it can be really hard to figure out what's going on, and you might play a bit too safe. You don't want to be building safety precautions like Baneling Nest in this scenario, Spinecrawler. Look at this Reaper! That Queen, she's at 38 energy. She wanted to put a creep tumor down like 20 seconds ago, and this Reaper's just looking for the snipe. But hard to do it. So a little trick for those who don't know. If the Reaper is down south of you, and you're above it, if you put your Queen... If you put the tumor right above the Queen, it's hard for them to actually click on it. Just because the model of the Queen kind of covers up the creep tumor. So just a cute little tip. Sometimes does piss me off when I'm the Terran. I'm looking to snipe that and I can't quite get it. Good scout there from Armani. Sees the third command center. Loses the Overlord for it, but an effective scout. So Armani now knows, okay, don't need any safety precautions. We can just chill. Did see the tech lab swap over. Now cloaked Banshees are going to start up. Clem's saying, all right, let's commit to that. You're probably not going to expect it, even though they're going to come in pretty late in this game. Now, an early lair does go down here for Armani, so... And a Roach Warrant. Oh, Armani. Okay. Okay, that almost certainly is going to be Armani just going for a big old bust. Now, interestingly, we could see something like a Queen drop. Because you can bring an Overseer to deal with Cloak. You can bring 3 or 4 Queens in a Drop-a-Lord. Drop them at the front. And you can actually make a delayed Ravager-ling work really well here. And that's specifically because it looks just like a macro build. OV speed starts up. I think that's what he's going for. So OV speed starts up, right? But yeah, basically, it looks like a normal macro build. Terran's just chilling, and often the Terran is just going, like I said, 3 barracks after this, just progressing onwards. No tanks. And if no tanks come out because they think the Banshee's going to keep them safe, bam, Queens come across in a Dropper, they shut down the Banshee. Hellions can do nothing against the Ravagers, and the moment the Hellions are gone, the Lings are just going to overwhelm everything. So looks like that build here, 48 drones from Armani. Doesn't have to be. It could be a later assault, just getting the Roaches for defense, but... All right, making an Overseer already to go with those Queens. Push back this. A lot of Hellions being built, and this is not good for Clem. Not against a Roach build. If he can get them past the Roaches in the mineral line and kill the drones early enough, it's not bad, but there we go. That Dropper Lord's already morphing out here. He's got the 4 Queens ready for it. The Banshees come forward. A Hellbat morph. This is not what you want to be doing as Clem. Seeing those Roaches, he's going to feel his heart sink, and the Queen's already targeting the Banshees. Clem, one of his Banshees goes down. He's got to get the heck out of there. And he's just going to have to walk away, losing a bunch of Hellbats. 4 Hellbats and a Banshee. Oh, that's nasty. Now the Queen can start, or the Banshee, sorry, can kill a few of those Roaches. Let the Hellions get out of there, but... Oh, adding insult to injury. Armani gets him with a Lynx around on these Hellions at the rally. Clem does have 2 Hellions there, so I think he'll be okay. Yeah, just going to have to micro that a little bit. Other Hellions come home. Might have been better if he split some Lings off to get a few SCVs. Now, the push is coming. How many Roaches? We got out 3 Roaches, 4, soon to be 5 Ravagers. So it's going to be, yeah, just building as many Ravagers as possible. An onslaught of Lings. Quite a lot of minerals stacked up for Armani. Definitely could be dropping like a 4th hatch and building a few more Queens behind this. But he's hitting a bit of a supply block on 106. Just waiting for that to finish. Now, the Overlord's here. There is a siege tank out. It's way back on the high ground. And Clem wisely builds a bunker. He realized the threat of this counterattack. So even though the Hellbat attack didn't work out well, it did give him some info, but oh no, he's losing his Hellions out front. Those Hellions are so important for dealing with these Zerglings, but now he's only got 1 left. He does have a bunker up, but uh-oh, that wall is getting breached right now. He's going to have to lower that deeper or he won't be able to repair the bunker. The tank is shelling on these units. Clem with a spectacular hold so far, but it's not over yet. There's still a lot of Ravagers, 7 out, an 8th on the way. No more Zerglings building, so it looks like Armani's giving up on this. And he's just going to try and spread creep outside the base, using that Dropper Lord as much as he can. Banshee's still alive. Clem making the most of a terrible situation. Quickly trying to rebuild depots. Double upgrades will be finishing here, whilst the Evos have just started for Armani. Now, Armani freezing tank production. And look at this. He's going to try and drop creep there. What the hell? He runs in, biles the tank. Only loses like 1 Ravager for it. And look at that. He tries to put creep in the main, but he does lose all 4 Queens in the Overlord for that. Armani getting way too tricky for his own goodness. Look at his minerals. Armani, what the hell are you doing, mate? This is how I macro behind this push. This looks like I'm... Don't get me wrong, Armani executed the push better than I would, but I am not used to seeing a player of Armani's caliber float 1,500 minerals behind that. I think 70 drones is good, but the macro hatch, the 4th base only now going down. Where's the 5th base? You have so many minerals, you can't spend it, dude. You desperately need to take more bases. Oh, big mistakes here for Armani. I think he could be in a much better position in the follow-up to that. But he is going to transition into ground. He's going to make a Spire for Mutas. Now, the danger there is you might be going into that a little bit too late in this game. I feel like Mutas, yeah, they're going to control the air a little bit. I almost feel like you just want more Queens for the anti-air and just to go heavy on the Ling Bane, though. Banshee gets out of there with 3 hit points. Do not lose that double drop. You see the Biles there, hoping that Clem was not looking at those medevacs. So just drops going across to start pressuring. I guess Armani knew Clem would be doing this and wants the Mutas to stop it. The problem is that 2-2 is on the way for Terran, and when 2-2 finishes, Clem's going to be almost maxed out. And there's going to be a killer 3-base push, and it's really going to require great Ravager control to stall out the Terran onslaught. Because yes, Terran took some damage, but he's back up to even workers now. He's way ahead on those upgrades. He's even starting a 4th command center. These drops are picking away. Spire's finally going to finish. And another double drop on the south. No scan to clear up the creep just yet. There we go. Does do it now. Gets a few of those active tumors. Continues into the natural. The drop on the north is going to drop inside that 4th mineral line. Where are the units to deal with this? Armani is not able to deal with this counter pressure. Those Marines just pick on up. These Marines over here are going to go back and re-drop. 2 of them are on the ground the entire time. Uh-oh. Those medevacs taking some hits. The medevacs microed back to safety for a moment. But Clem's medevacs a little bit lazy. Keep flying in spore range. Oh my god, he gets the 4th base. Armani once again floating a ton of minerals, trying to get Mutas out, but these Mutas are popping. And the last thing you need to defend the frontal push is Mutas. Mutas are good for controlling the map, getting harassment. And so you can drone hard and spread creep and get up behind that. But they're coming out so late. You've already lost your 4th as Armani. You've had this huge lava shortage for so long. And I feel like Clem is just, wow. He weathered the storm on that push. He survived. Part of me wonders if Armani could have just pushed in a little bit harder and faster. Another cancel on a base. Dude, Armani's just running his units around. Look at the control groups. Army on 2, Mutas on 1. And he's got to split these units up. Look at that. He's like, haha, I'm getting your drops. But he's going to lose his 4th again. This is well worth losing a few Marines and medevacs for. Clem is up on supply. His 2-2's almost ready. He's going to sacrifice these drops, which is a bit of a crazy maneuver in my opinion. But yeah, he's going to go to the high ground, see if he can eke out a little bit more damage there. 11 drones do go down. He drops in the gap, and he knows the mutas are coming back. So he's going to try to maybe shift-click the mutas. He gets 1 mutalisk. But that's good enough. Clem's got a 4th command center up. I kept talking about the push coming from Clem. I think Clem will be pushing, but he's more focused on just getting everything he needs as a big boy Terran macro player. 2-2's finished. He's got Drilling Claws almost done. Mines and Thors on the way to counter the mutas. He's already got a good tank count that's going to smash Banelings. It's going to do good versus those Ravagers. It's just keeping them at bay. 4th command center going down. Does he have turrets up? He does. +3 attacks already starting as well. That Banshee from earlier in the game, by the way, got repaired. The mutas think about going on it, but they don't want to get stimmed by those Marines. +3 armor as well. Armani's going to buy a bit of time here, but without a base to drone up, I mean, he's just so far behind on income. The next few fights need to be efficient for him, and yet he's down on upgrades and with a much worse army. Widowmine, Bio Thor, Rex Mutiling Bane. It's incredibly cost efficient. He's going to come in 2 Widowmines and a missile turret, though. You do not want to fight into that. And a nice quick mass repair on that. The Bio pushing across the map as well. Now, Lings are looking for the flank. They're going to hit the rally point. Uh-oh. His rally point is wide open. Has Clem screwed up here? He's got to get those units back on the high ground. Oh, no. He's going to quickly scramble, raises the wall, tries to set the rally point on the high ground and get more units out. At the same time, he is pushing forward, but with Banelings there, it's hard to push as deep as the Zerg does. Banelings, very good at stopping that flow of Terran. You see there, a few of the Marines do go down. Another great Baneling hit. There's not many Banelings to be spoken of, though. Jesus, Armani is so poor, man. Bile's doing pretty good. Also, not too bad. The Lings coming in. They're trying to... Oh, a Widowmine just took out almost every Zergling. And Clem is going to regain control of his production in just a moment's time. On the other side, he's not able to make any headway, but he's still got most of his bio alive. So as long as he doesn't go too deep, I think he's good. He takes out the Baneling nest. There's a lot of Banelings, but there's no support. So he knows as long as he doesn't get hit by the massive Banelings, that he will win. And we can just do a quick rewind there. I mean, look at this. It's just pure Baneling. 55 drones. 4th base still mining healthily. 3rd still mining healthily. Yes, he lost the workers on his natural, but his production's defended. And as the production's defended, I mean, he's not even fighting right now. But if he was attack moving, easy peasy. Let's go to game 2. Oh, right. Let's go. It's map number 2 here. And he let that one slip away a little bit. Did not get the damage done that he needed with that big push, did he? And I really think he should have been able to bust through, especially if he was just keeping those injects going and had a bit more Lings flooding in with his push. He had so many minerals behind it. Likewise, if he took 2 hatcheries as the attack was starting, which he had the money for the whole time, he just could have had such a better setup. He could have been building more Zerglings to deal with the counter drop. So, and this is classic Armani. It's honestly, if I had to, I really relate to Armani as a player because it's a player who can have great preparation, good builds, good reads, and then the game hits a pressure point and you see a drastic drop in skill level where sometimes he just, it doesn't happen always, it's happening a lot less recently, which is why he's performing better. But you just see these moments where he falls apart under pressure and kind of lets things slip out of his control. And it feels like he puts too much pressure on his shoulders, gets really nervous. And I think, honestly, for Armani, the big thing standing in his way as a player is himself. He just needs to find a way to get out of his way, get out of his own head, and just keep playing the game. It feels like as soon as a game gets into a dynamic situation, he just gets so stiff and inflexible, and he just wants to follow, like, the thing that's been mapped out. And he can play his openings to perfection, right? When the situation's mapped out, he's one of the absolute best. But the moment there's a bit more interaction, a few more variables, or something doesn't quite go his way, he sometimes stiffens up. Sometimes when he's ahead as well, he stiffens up and lets those leads slip out. So I hope he can come back in this series and give us some close games, because do not get me wrong, his build choice, his openings are often perfection, and there's a lot to be learnt from them. Down in the bottom left, it's Armani. Top right, Clem looking confident as ever. Dude, the quick lift on the third base, the maneuvering with the tank, the double bunker. Great play. He's already up in this series. It's young Clement. He's doing a very standard opening again. Does send an SCV, sees that it's hatchery first, immediately goes home with that SCV. First Reaper will, of course, head across the map. Behind that, it's a Marine, and then he's going to use the factory SCV, or depot SCV, sorry, to build the factory. You can afford it earlier, but you just don't need it because you don't have the reactor starting until the Marine pops out. And he's actually going to go a quick second gas this game. Okay, so a more traditional build, not as fast third command center. It'll be more of a, rather than a 2-minute 30, 240 command center, it'll be something more like a 4-minute command center is what we'd expect. Reaper wants some kills. Does take a few too many hits from those Zerglings, though. And this time, Armani not going to lose a single ling as long as he pulls it back. Oof. And that Reaper there. Oh, does take a hit, which means easy creep tumor. Armani could have put that right on the edge if he wanted. That Reaper was so weak, there's no way he can prod the high ground without risking death. So we might just hang out there on the low ground, look to slow the spread of the creep tumor. Behind this, ling speed started. Third queen on the way. It was that quick third hatch again before Overlord, I believe. So nice play by Armani. He's just got this opening very well refined. It's his standard play. And he's got his Overlords once again out on the middle of the map pervert pillars a little bit. This one's going to go out front the third to see Hellion rotations. This one can see Hellion rotations as well. And it's that delayed sacrifice coming in right about 3:34 minutes just to double check. Is it a third command center? Or are we looking at some faster Liberators, some faster Medevacs, some faster Banshees? You know, is it safety? Do I need safety measures or do I just need to hold down the drone key? This time he sees 2 Marines as he comes in, but he sees a nice quick starport. And that finishing up might already tell him what's going on. He doesn't see a third command center, so he could probably assume no third CC off that scout. Armory goes down. There's a Medevac on the way. Uh-oh. We are going to see a fierce Medevac Hellbat timing. Are we going to get one more Marine? I'd love to see one more Marine, but he's already going for the Tech Lab to swap with a Banshee. So it's going to be 3 Marines and a Medevac and 6 to 8 Hellbats hitting the front very early. Feels like Armani has that read. I guess seeing no add-on on the starport, he says, well, it could just be a Lib. But a Lib's pretty easy to just micro around. As a super high-level player, I can just pull drones away, micro my queens. So I'm going to build a spine for a bit of safety here. A few extra Zerglings as well. So the safety spine, and he's just going to abandon his third if he needs to. Hellbats can't really kill a hatchery very quickly, so it's more about defending his natural mineral line from the Hellbat assault. And here we go, Medevac coming in. Hellions are going to morph. Oh, they're going to try and morph as far forward as possible. The Reaper, a grenade behind those queens would have been really nice to pop them forward there into the Hellbat's grasps, but now with the spine crawler there, I think a back off is the wise idea. And he splits off 2 Hellbats to go towards the main. The Queens, aware of this, are going to go up there and try and defend. But with no Spore Crawler, that Hellbat drop will have a little bit of freedom. And try to roast some Zerglings, maybe get a drone or 2. Ooh, he's got to be careful, though. Okay. He rotates around the third at the same time. Quick pickup and boost. He's trying to just keep him busy. Ooh, it takes a lot of damage, but you know what? He's going to find another mineral line. Oh! Armani! Armani almost loses 15 drones. He loses 3 of them, almost loses more. And he runs in the third with these Hellbats, does Clem. The Spine Crawler unable to take part in this fight. The Hellbats get left behind. The Medevac does boost out of there on just 6 hit points. The Queen unable to confirm that kill. And, oh, dude, that was a freaking dangerous moment from Armani. In the end, I mean, he holds okay, but he lost a lot of mining time, and he did lose a fair few Zerglings. He lost the Spine. Oh, the Spine actually moves up to the third and got killed by those Hellbats on its own, and then the Lings came in to try to support it, but it was too late. Oh, wow, well played. And there's no detection. There's no lair right now, guys. Look at the structures. It's just 3 hatcheries. No lair on that structures tab, and those spores are not finished yet, so the Banshee is having a little bit of fun. I think it could have done a bit more there. Could have gone after a few more drones. Clem missing out on an opportunity, I do believe. It does get... He's busy macroing at that moment. He had a lot of money to spend after all that frantic micro, so fair enough. He's going to join the Banshees up. Should probably decloak that one, to be honest, and just run away and rotate. Look for the denial on the creep. Banshee is one of the best units to just pick off creep tumors, pull back, pick off creep tumors, recycle that over and over, and then try to come in on one of these exposed edges and just hold position above a gas geyser, hold position over here, pick off a few drones, while other things are going on later in the game. So it's going to be 5 racks into Bio Mine. He's expecting he expects Mutaplay, but it's actually sneaky Roaches from Armani. So Widow Mine's not great versus Roaches. They can get biled down from the Ravages. Banshees are going to take this out. But yeah, it's going to be... I mean, if you're going Master Roach like this, you're usually looking for a kill move or at least to deny one of their expansions. The Banshees are getting some pretty sick value right now. Going for that high energy Queen. Transfuse does go down, but not before another drone falls. Does miss that drone while he's looking at home to spend his money. Clem here, of course, a multitasking monster. 5 more workers going down. There's still no Overseer. The lair just finished, but it hasn't been morphed yet. There it is. It finally comes over. And he gets a 9th worker there in that round. A great start, I think, here for Clem, who's way ahead on that units loss tab. And definitely slowed down the build-up of Armani. He's up 2 SCVs. It's time for the Biomine push to start. As much as it's a sneaky mass of roaches, and it's usually a kill move, in this scenario, it's a let's hope I can just survive off the back of these roaches, and I'm pretty sure he'll swap into melee upgrades now. Because he's so far behind his Armani off these openings that he's not really going to be able to deal with pushing into his opponent's defenses. Still has not shown the roaches. He doesn't want to show the roaches, but he has to. Is it even enough to hang on? It looks like it is. The Queen's there. Mass transfuse. A good little trade there for Armani, I think. Well executed. He's making another Overseer on the right. Marines going to pick these units off. Pick off a few roaches. Pick off the Overseer. Those Marines get out of there. Good trading here by Clem. Stays ahead in the units lost tab, even though it was a good fight to begin with for Armani. 2-2 on the way. By the way, guys, sorry. Check this out. We can check that last trade with the battle report. I forgot. Nice username. I created this mod. So that last fight was 10 Marines, 3 Widow Mines for 12 Lings, 2 Roaches, and Overload. So that was a way better fight for Armani. These are swapped for whatever reason, these two. Does that swap if I do this? Does it swap now? No. It's on the wrong side, but whatevs. So shout out to Nice Username for creating that mod, the battle report mod. I'm not sure how. I think it's played on a mod, and then it basically all the replays have that, because he was tweeting saying in the Reddit thread, hey guys, remember you can press Shift B in these replays and it'll show you a little summary of the past battle. But let's focus on the game. I talked about Roach Ravager kill moves. There are no more upgrades on the way for Armani. He wants to kill Clem right now. Clem is way ahead economically. He's got 2-2 on the way, but he doesn't have any tanks. Like, 1 siege tank might as well be no siege tanks. I think Clem may have to just lift this base and pull back. Right now, it's all about surviving and preserving the tank count. He's got 2 tanks building at a time, but he's losing a lot of workers right now. Ooh, 3 siege tanks are now down. A lot of SCVs have died here, but that's okay. As Clem, you'd much rather lose a few SCVs as long as you don't lose your bio. Because once the bio's gone, the tanks are exposed. Right now, if those Ravagers try to get in range of the tanks, the bio runs forward and says, I will punish you. Does lose a few units to those bios, but those 3 tanks in the back, absolute destroyers of Armani's army. If he can hold on just a little bit longer, Clem may be okay in this game. It's bloody close. This 2-2 needs 20 more seconds to finish. He's taken a big hit to his economy, but remember, 2-2 versus 1-1. This was a hugely committed attack. Armani wanted more than that. There's a 4th command center landing. Clem will bounce right back. And I think Armani, realizing that, he's going to rotate around and look for more. If he can deny that 4th for a bit, it will help. But look at this. Clem wastes no time. He's already across the map. Now, that may be a bit greedy. The tank's a bit exposed. If Armani went for a wild dive, he may have broken Clem just then. But of course, Clem realizes he doesn't have the information to know that. And the Marines are going to stem on in. Goodbye, drones. Goodbye, Queens in the main. This buys a lot of time for Clem. And this is what this is all about. Okay. Oh, cool. He killed a few units. Isn't that nice? He killed some stuff. 3 Marines. It's a good little trade. What's more important is it's buying time. Look at that. The 4th command center is going up in the top left. He's got a planetary on the way. The double drop on the right. The double drop on the left. This just keeps Armani pinned back. And Armani, yeah, he's built a few workers. He's going for more upgrades. He's trying to get tunneling claws, but it's still on a short-term army composition where Armani is going to be desperate to trade with Clem. And Clem, on the other hand, is like, hey, I'll pick you off with these units and I'll only take the fights that are good for me. Look at this. This drop goes in 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 more workers for next to nothing. And these are the trades that he's going to keep getting these. If you don't have anti-air, you're on Master Roach Ravager. You've got to be so much better at positioning, and Armani's making big mistakes in terms of that. These are just double drops, but he keeps leaving wide openings, and it's because Armani keeps not thinking defensively. He's thinking, I want to get across the map and kill you again. I can't give you any room to breathe. But every time he does that, it means he pulls units off defense duty, runs through the middle of the map, And oh my god, no turrets! He catches all of his siege tanks! There's other units there, so they'll be able to kill the roaches. But dude, the Ravagers come in. Oh no, the tanks do get a few volleys off on those Ravagers. But I think this is it. He's just going to go for it. All those tanks unsieging right now. Clem, absolute Chad, unsieges all of his tanks, but now there's roaches on top of them. Armani dives on top. Clem thought this was a small army that he didn't have to respect. He didn't realize half of it was underneath him. And from beneath you, it devours this swarm coming up from underneath. I mean, it's still down on upgrades, remember, so it might not be able to break him. It kills all the tanks. It's an incredible fight for Armani, who's fighting with a way worse army. But, losing those Ravagers, that might be unrecoverable. 14 SCVs taking out the tanks. I mean, you've reset the Terran army. Armani's got to pull out. You got to pull out, Armani. These are bad trades. Go home, go home, go home. If Armani had some roaches in a mineral line somewhere else, I'd be okay with this, but he doesn't. He just doesn't. So it's a hard situation. Now, Clem's going to jump on him. Armani's like, okay, yeah, maybe we can take these fights. If Armani had another 15 workers, if he didn't lose those 15 workers on this fourth base, his ability to remax right now and hit with another attack would be beautiful. As it is, 3-3 is on the way, which is going to put the upgrade advantage back in Clem's favor. There's only a narrow window while it's even upgrades, and the tanks are returning to the front. And that's the important thing. Those tanks, man, they are big. A scan goes down, sees the burrowed roaches. Great game sense there by Clem. He's like, man, is there an army coming? And he even spots that it's all burrowed. Notice how Zerglings are getting mixed in as well. Small numbers of Zerglings. These are what we call tank absorbers. Just having a few lings spread out in front of your army to take that first line of tank shots. They don't have melee upgrades. They don't do a lot of damage. They are just there to try and drag fire away from your big clumps of Roach Ravager on the initial engage. Watch here. That first one takes a shot. That one takes a shot. That one did not take a shot. And now the big shots start landing on the Roach Ravager. But even just taking a few more of those splash damage shots out can sometimes make a difference. But look at that. Clem runs forward. Yes, his Medivacs tank a bile or two, but he's taking out a lot of the Ravagers. A big surround on this side. A great concave. Both players trading positions, trading units. Clem has a fourth base and 70 workers and mules, though. So I think you've got 3-3 has kicked in now. It's a double upgrade advantage for Clem. Doesn't have... Oh, and 2 more tanks come down. I was about to say he doesn't have an anchor for his position. Now he does. He has the tank advantage. And when there's a tank advantage, you have to attack into him with a Roach Ravager, which means Clem gets to pick the battle a little bit more. And with this economy, 4th fully saturated, 3rd looking healthy, Armani can't keep up. The milk has gone off. I always talk about Roach Ravager. It's milk that's in the fridge, dude. It's good for the first few days. After a week or so, sometimes it starts to get a little bit iffy. And 2 weeks later, that's where we are in this game. It's been 14 minutes in this game, where 2 weeks later, dude, you better give that milk a bit of a sniff before you pour that into your cereal, because there's a good chance there's some chunks in it. There might be some lumpy bits, and it's going to smell sour. And that's exactly what Armani's smelling right now. He's going to try to drink it anyway. He's a hungry Zerg. He says, I need to. I'm hungry. I can't starve. Clem says, get out of here. Roach Ravager just does not scale well into those later stages. Armani almost bringing it back with that tunneling claw maneuver, but not quite. Let's go straight to game 3. All right. It's time for the next map, and he's got to dig deep because it's just not working out for him, man. He even built a spine crawler in prep for that Hellbat timing, but he just got out positioned. He got circles running around him, just a little too slow to respond. He's got to win the next 3 in a row to bring this series back. Come on, Armani, give us some games. Give us some good games. Our man, Armani. Down in the bottom right, we do have the red player who is dominating so far. I feel like he's always a little caught off guard in these games by some of the attacks, and then is just winning through sheer power of just good micro, good macro, great execution. And I think most of all, to be honest, it's his drops, right? Even when he falls a little behind or things get a bit awkward, his drops are doing way too much damage. I almost want to see Armani just open up fast meters, because this man's multi-prong is insane. It's Clem. We're going to very quickly freeze the screen for 1 moment there as we pull back to the start of this soundtrack, just to make sure. And we're back in game. There we go. And it looks like the players paused as I tabbed in and out as well in the replay. Of course, Tenchi was observing this tournament live. Shout out to him. By the way, let's see if the battle report works at the start of the game. It does! I love this little feature. So, very standard opening here. Once again, these overlords, you'll notice they've gone out. This one went on this path, went whoop, and then south, so looking for proxy barracks. This one as well has gone out this side, just checking for proxy barracks. Note to self, if you want a proxy barracks versus Armani on this map, build them here or here. You will never see them. Funnily enough, we see that a lot in PvP recently, where players don't actually, like, it's obvious they're proxying somewhere and the other player's scouring every corner, and you'll see them proxy like right here. And you're just like, what? You can't just build there. And they're like, yeah, I mean, you're looking on the edges. You're looking where you think a proxy would be, not in the middle of the map. It's like, but what if I just walked right through the middle of the map? I'd see it. And they're like, yep, I'm gambling on you being a good player who assumes that I'm smart enough to not do that. And therefore, there is no point you wasting resources checking for that thing. Sometimes the biggest brain thing in StarCraft is doing a dumb thing once in a while. As long as you don't do it too often, you mix it in. You really sell that story of I'm an intelligent, calculated player. And then once in a while, you do the silliest thing you can possibly think of, and your opponent's never prepared. They're like, really? Wait? And then it also screws with their head, because then they're going to doubt themselves whenever they're making an assumption about what you'd be focusing on, because they no longer can assume you're just going to be doing what good people do. Notice that creep? You see he clicked on the queen there. I was talking about that in the previous game, guys. The queen was there, and it put the tumor above it. Clem tried to run in and click on it, but he clicked on the queen accidentally. As the Terran player, the only way you can avoid that is if you scroll your screen right up so the queen's further down and you can see more of the tumor, or you can rotate your camera to get an angle to click on it, both of which players aren't really doing in the heat of battle. So it's a very cool thing that you can try to do. Mix it in there. Reaper does get pushed back. It's back to the quick third command center before gas this time. Armani ready with his Overlord scout. He's going to go in at 3 minutes 20. No, he's like, oh, nah. Oh, this is a nervous Nelly Overlord. He's not going in. Okay, so he wants to scout a bit later, because I think he wants to confirm what the starport's doing. And there's only one Marine, so he won't go down. I mean, that Marine's just going to... It will kill the Overlord probably, but actually the Overlord could spot the command center, turn around, and get out of there. Let's watch this. Armani sees the third CC almost finished. Is like, okay. Back to a greedy build. He's actually going to let the Overlord die. Just wants to see everything behind it. And this time a Liberator. Follow up for Clem. So no Banshee safety measures. I think he's kind of realized, well, he tried to do a queen drop push. My Banshees weren't really keeping me safe against that in game one. So let's just do some more pressure. Hellion Lib, some lighter pressure. I don't need to bother with the add-on just yet. And I think he's going to go into bio a lot quicker. So he's gone how many? 4 Hellions, 6 Hellions. I think he might swap the factory off there. Yeah. So he's gonna just go 6 Hellions rather than the 8 Hellions and 2 Banshees. 6 Hellions, 1 Liberator. And this means faster extra barracks. He's already got those barracks. He'll build a reactor there, which this barracks will swap onto. And that means he'll have 2 barracks with reactors pumping out Marines before the 5-minute mark. So any sort of Ravager Ling push that comes out, he will have a lot of bio to deal with it, but it looks like that's exactly what's happening. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Already a Ling run by Common is set up for this as well, and his Waldorf's not complete. It will be with the engineering bays, but he needs to get wind of this. There's 11 roaches on the way. He needs to start building tanks right now. If he builds a tank right now, he's got the money for it, and he queues a tank. Oh, okay, that might keep him alive here. It's going to be a hugely committed attack. He's got to see it coming still. And the Zergling's unable to find a way in. Marines behind the wall off. And you can see there, those 2 reactors. One ready, the other one's going to swap the starport. This is a good setup so far. The Liberator comes in around the back of the 3rd and just forces a little bit of mining time. But having seen that, this tells you everything you need to know as Clem right now. I'm not sure if he's paying attention, though. Clem, he should be building bunkers. He's not paying attention. Oh, Clem was not watching the Liberator. Because he saw the drones pull away, he thought, oh yeah, you pull all your drones away. He wasn't paying attention to the fact that there's way less drones than there should be. Now, he is getting massive damage with these Hellions, but as you still need to survive, and he's not started bunkers. His tank's on the low. Clem! Oh, come on, he's got no defense. You're lowering your wall and floating your 3rd out. Clem, wake up. Wake up, Clem. He breezes to a 2-0 advantage, and he doesn't pay attention. A very lazy maneuver and uncharacteristic from Clem. That's the sort of maneuver I do when I'm being a lazy player. And Clem there making a huge mistake. He saw no drones, that there was only 3 or 4 drones on the 3rd. His Hellions came in and saw there was no defense available. Surely that's because your opponent's pushing across the map, just because you don't see the units. He saw a lack of units, and that tells him just as much. And Clem here trying to hold onto the low ground. If he got his tanks on the high ground, he might have defended here. Remember, this was against 23 drones. He still had a chance to hang on if he put his tanks really far back, built a bunker on the high ground. Even there, he had a shot to recover, but Clem gets caught with his pants down, being way too greedy. All right, drops a point there with some lazy play, not paying attention, not necessarily to what he was seeing, but the lack of units there, the things which he wasn't seeing. And he drops a map for free. That should have been a 3-0, in my opinion. All he needed to do was drop some bunkers and siege the tank on the high ground. I don't even think Armani had an overlord to spot the high ground tank. Which means if you got a tank on the high ground, like, dude, remember, he was on 23 drones as well. That was about as desperate an attack as could come out. But this player here getting a bit too greedy. It's Clem. The opponent in the bottom left-hand side does finally get a point on the board, but I mean, the problem is it's all come off roach play, right? 3 games, he's 1 for 2 with roach play. I really think Armani needs to play a different style. I don't think he can just keep doing these roach attacks. The adjustment will come out of Clem. At least I think it will. Like last game, it didn't, I guess. It's like, hey, 2 games he's tried to ravage a ling bust you. Game 3, you see everything pointing to it. You don't react. Who knows? Maybe you just keep trying and hope that Clem's sleeping at his post. This is Armani. Big mistake, man. So the Overlord pars, you can see checking out the left for proxy barracks and down the right. Once again, guys, like I said, this is where you proxy barracks. You want to proxy 3x versus Armani right here. 2, 3, 4x, doesn't matter. That's how you kill Armani. You gotta change those Overlord patterns up. You gotta mix it up. He is bringing this one back to the right, actually, so it would give him some warning, but not a lot. SCV comes out after the barracks finishes. Command center goes down, and you can see here that this SCV is already just queued to the front. And as soon as he sees the natural, sees that is a hatch first, he will go home. For those of you, if you're a newer player, if you send your barracks SCV to scout, when you get there, you should see the hatchery just finishing and your Reapers popping out all at the same time, just about 2 minutes. And that tells you it's a normal hatchery first build. So if your opponent's a little slow with that hatchery, maybe you hang around for a few seconds and you go, oh yeah, it's just about to finish, that's fine. But if it's only halfway done or something like that, then you know there's a potential for early Zerglings, and most players will leave the Reaper at home to defend those in that scenario. Nice quick third base goes down for Armani, starts the Overlord behind that. And we're going to see, normally drones would go down right now, but he's a bit busy microing. Normally it's 2 drones, then Ling Speed. He goes Ling Speed before the drones this time around. That's a very slight mix-up on game 1, but who knows, maybe game 1 was the variation. Queues up another drone, and does lose a Zergling there. But there we go, creep on the natural, spreading forwards. 1 Overlord here, ready for the sack. And the other Overlord just sitting here in a central location is going to see where that Reaper goes. Just leaving 1 worker on gas now, so he has some potential to just quickly knee-jerk into a certain tech if he wants to. Get a quick lair up if he feels the desire. And I'd love to see where Armani goes with this one next. That Queen would love to spread the creep, but not feeling confident with that Reaper hanging around so close. Okay, now he puts it down. Oh, those Lings need to get in front of that. Okay. It's got enough hit points. The Reaper knows he can't really take that down. Oh, he might get a fresh one there. Can he get it? He gets it. Nice snipe. Gets in, gets out. And a Creep Tumor and a Zergling. Good value there. Okay, no, it doesn't show the Creep Tumor in here. It just shows the KD8 charge. Fair enough. Biggest damage dealer. 28 Reaper, 48 Queen. Oh, I like that. Ooh, gets another Creep Tumor. The aliens and the Reaper dive in. He gets another Creep Tumor. It is going to be a second gas into the quick Banshees this game. And ooh, the Reaper goes down a bit too antsy there from Clem. But having got a few Creep Tumors, it does deplete a lot of that Queen energy. Slows down the creep from exploding. Overlord's going to see that its Banshee's on the way. And we're going to see that command center coming down next to complete the wall here. So not a very quick command center, and maybe this will be the time where Armani just plays Muta Zergling Baneling. Says, hey, you don't have that quick third CC. And a lair and an extra gas goes down. So at the very least, preparing for a quicker Baneling speed. Yeah, Baneling S goes down as well with that. So this is a quick 2-gas Bane speed. Aliens poke in, don't really find anything. That Overlord does go down. Chunks of its meat fall into the cavern off the side of the map. And those spores starting up 436. So he's delayed them nicely, not rushing them by any means. And just trying to get this third mineral line fully saturated off the back of these 2 gas geysers. Going to get a bit more gas for Overseers, for Bane speed to start up when that layer's done. It's going to go right to 4 gas. It's definitely mutiling Bane on 3 hatch. So that 4th hatch is going to be a bit delayed with such quick gas. There's only 9 drones on the 3rd so far. Banshee coming in towards the main, but already an extra queen there. Great preparation by Armani. Banshee's just going to hang out between the bases. Oh, finds an angle outside of Spore range. Spore can see to about here. Hellion still having a little poke. Without the Reaper to bounce the queens and tank, though. Not as durable. And seeing an Overseer on the way, Clem backs off. Spire goes down immediately. Armani going heavy into the gas right now. But sorry, Mum. I'm not picking the phone up. Oh, I'm working. My mum just tried to ring my phone, guys. And I sent it to voicemail. I'm a bad son. Hellions here start to roast some Zerglings. Ooh, the Lings do get a wrap around. But the Hellions do survive for now. Feels like a good controlled opening for Armani. And I think Armani's a bit more comfortable in this scenario. I kept saying you got to change it up. And I think running into the non-3cc build, definitely something where Armani feels a bit more comfortable playing Mutiling Bane. You've got Spire almost done. You've got Bane speed almost ready. Clem likes to attack. Against this style, how many times in Korea have we seen this late 4th base get sniped by the first big Marine tank push? You think it's going well for the Terran. He's up on SCVs. He's looking good. And then the Bane speed Muta Zergling counterattack just obliterates the 3rd of Terran and wins the game. It happens quite a lot. We used to see it happen with Sue all the time. You think he's losing. He's behind on economy, but bam. You got those mutas and the quick Bane speed before they get too many upgrades, especially if you can fight pre-combat shields. But Clem not missing a beat on any of those upgrades. Those Banshees continue to pick off tumors and just really playing it a little dangerous there, hanging out close. Oh, good Zergling scout for Armani. Comes forward and does see this army moving out. We're going to see Baneling start to morph, but there's 8 mutas hitting the field. A lot of Ling Bane on the way, and he might not even lose the 4th base. Armani has a really good setup. Doesn't have a lot of creep this way. The tanks are probably going to try and wedge themselves down there. Let's see. There's only 1 tank, actually. Oh, he's got another tank at the medevac. The mutas here look for the rally. They don't find it, though. They do not find it. And oh, that's a lot of Ling Bane muta, dude. The muta's clicking on that northern tank. Oh, the Banshees and the tanks do take out a few of those Banshees. Out of those Banelings, sorry. And this is a dangerous scenario, dude, because as Clem, you'd love to just leave. I actually wouldn't mind him unsieging the tank and trying to boost out of there and bring the rally over to try and meet in the middle of the map and keep you alive. Oh, he unsieges, but he gets caught unsieging. The Marines do take the Banelings out. So he takes out 1 muta, 2 mutas. Ooh, good focus fire on those, and he can boost up into the main base. Meanwhile, the rally is coming down. Hellions included on that. The mutas are right on top of this. So the Marines aren't going to be able to do much, especially not with the Lings getting on top of them. Tries to click on the muta, doesn't quite get it. And he comes forward with another army, but once again, like that was meant to be a force that saved this army, or at least as that army drew Armani south, he was hoping that this army could dive in and kill the base. As it is, though, he's got to pull back. He's going up to 8 barracks here now, so it's going to be just lots of bio production. And already has those 5 barracks up in the main. The 4th and 5th reactors there. Turrets are going down. Definitely map control goes to the Zerg at this moment as the mutas fly across the map. His own upgrades are coming in a bit delayed behind the Terran, but the armory did not start immediately. So that's quite good for Armani, who now just blossoms drones onto that 4th. Takes a 5th base. Creep is spreading in every direction across this map. And this is Armani in control of this. No 4th command center started and no 2nd factory on the way. This is looking like an all-in attack from Clem. Now he's adding a few reactors here, 2 reactors and a tech lab. That tells us he is going all in on 3 base. Maybe not completely all in, but bloody heavily committed to his next push. He's basically saying, if this ever gets to ultras, I'm screwed, because I'm actually building 2 extra reactors. That's going to be 7 reactors, 14 Marines, 2 Marauders, and 1 tank building at a time. No Widow Mines to deal with the Banelings. It's going to be raw numbers, which if you ever get flanked by Banelings and they get a good connection on your Marines, this will fall apart very quickly for Clem. And you can see the numbers are already in Armani's favor. If he can fight when the upgrades are even, Armani's going to be pretty happy with that. Banelings find the Marines. Clem not watching. Ooh. Not a bad trade for Armani. Armani here, yeah, he's got +2 flyer attack on the way. If he starts 2-2 straight away as well, he's not even that far behind. Immediately into +2 carapace. Armani's hitting everything. Everything he needs to. The creep is spreading out. Clem's feeling a little impotent right now. He's got a 4th command center there. The Mutiling Bane dives! Gets a medevac, but most of the Marines do get out. Okay, he was hoping for the surround on all of it. But already he's making it really tough just for Clem to even move on the map and push creep back. Clem is constantly in danger of being surrounded. It's even upgrades. Right now is the time where Armani would love to fight. And Clem's kind of gifting it to him, dude. He just doesn't have any support. He's got tanks on the top left. Ooh, good pullback by Armani. I think he takes 1 tank volley, but I think that's acceptable. Does have to pull back. Good micro by Clem here. Clem's 4th command center is there. Like I said, without a 2nd factory heading towards Widow Mines, it feels like a really desperate situation. Clem's not building more SCVs for a 4th command center. He's trying to really take good trades and win with this army. Banshees will slowly deal with some of those Zerglings, but not quick enough, mate. The Mutas dive on in. The turret getting mass repaired is kind of nice. The bio does stim back here. The turret survives. Wow, great mass repair. That effectively blocked the Zerglings from attacking the turret and kept it alive against the Mutas. Clem's looking pretty good. He's taking these fights pretty well. He's definitely trading a little better. I just always worry when someone does not have that 2nd factory. No Widow Mines often means no win. He's going to have spectacular Marine splits. Ooh, the tank's a little slow to siege. The Banelings, though, wrap up on it. 2 tanks survive on red hit points. A shame they don't go down. Armani's going to have to do more damage with the backstab. The Banshees are still there, though. Ah, nice roll in there. A lot of the SCVs going down. On the other side, that base does fall. Clem immediately scans the bottom right, sees that hatchery. Here we go. The Marines getting overwhelmed by the Mutas here. Armani's 3rd. Clem's 3rd is being ransacked by Armani. There's too many Mutas there. He's got to pull back to his main base production. That command center will fall. Clem will shove forward as well, though. He's going to take out another hatch. The Banelings are not ready to answer this. Clem's got to be careful, though. If he goes too deep, those Banelings are going to connect. Good pullback there by Armani. 2 turrets over there. But he's taken out the 3rd and he pulls back. He wants to just surround this army. He wants to surround this army. Uh-oh. Clem! He's going to try and siege and pull back. That's a lot of Banelings, though. Oh, my lord. There's just so many Banelings coming in. He just says, look, abandon ship. Get out of here. The medevacs are trying to just get home desperately. He's going to have to lower his wall and try to move out, but his reinforce is not that big. He's only on 54 SCVs. The medevacs are falling in droves. That all gets defended. Armani popped another base up in the bottom right, so he's still got 4 bases mining. He's going to instantly retake a 5th, probably go for a 6th in the near future as well, and the medevacs try to come back on a surprising angle. The Mutas find him. Ooh, Armani not watching, though. Can he get him? Gets 1 more. Can he get a 2nd? Not quite. 2-2 versus 2-2. The hive starts, so Armani happy to go to the next stage. A scan sees a base massively oversaturated in the bottom right. Does not see anything mining on that base, which maybe gives Clem a moment of happiness, I guess. And the Muta's going to dive on those turrets. Clem, you get a mass repair. He does mass repair the 2nd one. It'll at least take out a couple Mutas, maybe only 1 there, though. And that's damage he can't really afford. He's got a big push going to the bottom right. Clem knows he needs to set up some Widow Mines on the front, but what's he got? 1 Widow Mine? That's not going to cut the mustard. Without those Widow Mines to give Armani pause, it becomes very hard to do this with just Bio Medevac tank and just rolling in sections of Banelings. That's hard to deal with just Marines. Where are the Widow Mines, Marauders, and tanks? You just don't have them. This is what I was talking about. It's a short-term, high-damage style, but it's incredibly fragile when you don't have the Widow Mines or the Marauder count to back that up. GG, Armani takes us to game 5. All right. We've got a game 5 here. I don't think he's happy to be here. But his early pressure just did not work out in that last game. It was scouted, his build order was, and he did not find the damage. And it felt like finally the momentum has swung away from him in this series. In the top left, he does not want to get reversaled here. It's Team Liquid's Clem. And in the bottom right of the map, I think happy to maybe be on a little bit of a larger map. Maybe going to pull out that Mutiling Bane style once again. This is Armani. I do think sometimes Armani is a little slow to go towards Hive when playing Muta, Zergling, Baneling, but in that last game with the backstabs just escalating the way they did, pulling drones away, re-expanding and just giving up bases, I think it was a great way to play. Take out, trade bases with your opponent and then come back and collapse on them because you've got that mobility as Zerg. So you've usually got the ability to retake bases much easier as the Terran. So if you can, okay, I'll take out your third, you take out my fourth, and then create this kind of dynamic shifting situation, you're going to bounce back quicker because you can just grab a few drones, throw a few hatcheries down around the map, whereas the Terran is going to be a bit slower to be able to do that. And then once that calms down, you can actually just quickly pull back from your counterattack, group your army up, flank, surround their force. So you can often, if you force a chaotic situation with Muta Zergling Baneling, you can often take advantage of it by both getting quicker expansions back up, re-droning quicker, and also regrouping your army at just the right time to take game-winning fights. So what we saw in map number 2, Clem's going to have to avoid that. I think he might just go back to the quick third command center in map 5, as he does feel a little bit better. And the SCV scout once again. So very standard openings. Looking at Armani's pattern, you can tell he's gone out to the left and then up here with that one. And the other one went out to the right, straight up, and then over here. So this is going to be the scouting overlord. He's going to put it on this pervert pillar, very recessed further back from the Terran base, so it can't be spotted. And he'll probably bring that in about a minute's time to fly on through and scout what's happening. Now that factory goes down. Are we going to see a second gas? Nope. He's going 3 command center. So Clem here is going to do the 3 command center. As I suspected, I think he's very strong if he gets up to that Widow Mine 3 base, 4 base, 5 base stage of the game. Oh, Reaper already gets a Zergling kill, damaging the rest, not finding anything else, but he's healthy. He's healthy. Ooh! He goes for the bounce. Does he get it? Oh, he misclicks it. He doesn't get the creep tumor. Ah, he does get his Zergling, but I think he really wanted that tumor. So a little unfortunate there, Clem. Of course, not wanting to lose the Reaper. Don't think it's worth losing the Reaper for a tumor. It's just if you can get it for free. Now, quick third command center is on the way there. Starport's on the way behind it, and immediately into a tech lab. Normally you're meant to start the 2 Hellions, then the tech lab, Clem. Clem making newbie mistake. Newbie mistake. It's not a big deal. These Hellions don't really do much early. Oh, he tries to bounce it and get the creep tumor. Another failed attempt from Clem to get the creep tumors. Ooh. Gonna be a little annoyed at that as he drops a second gas on the natural expand. He's actually starting stim. Oh, that's a barracks. That's not a starport. Oh, okay. Pay attention. I saw a structure. I didn't even click on it or look at the production data. And that's the second barracks. He's doing the 3cc 211. A fantastic build order. It is a little vulnerable to like an early Bane Bust or something because you've only got 2 Aliens in a Reaper, like a really early Roach Assault. But once that stim kicks in, I mean, this is basically the same as the old double barracks Marine drop. 2 barracks, a factory, a starport, but you've got a 3rd command center in there. So the thing is, if the Zerg can't like backstab your 3rd or anything like that, bam, your 3rd base just gets up landed. You're harassing with medevacs and Marines. And we've seen that that's Clem's favorite part of the game. If he can just control the flow with his Marine pressure and expand freely behind it, he gets out of control very quickly. Of course, Armani saw the 3rd command center. He's going to go single Evo for a quick carapace, which is very good against those early Marines. Makes your Queens tankier, your Zerglings tankier. But a bit of a supply block there, I think, was a bit unfortunate. I really think Armani needs to be escalating that drone production. The most important part of defending this sort of build is getting this 3rd mineral line fully saturated and exploding from there. Now, a lot of players will play really greedy and just get Queen Ling and delay their Baneling Nest forever. And because of that, some Terrans will do this variation where they actually leave the factory on the reactor to get a few more Hellions out, and they add an armory. So it's a surprise stim Hellbat timing attack. He might swap these around now, but no, he's just going to keep building Hellions, rallying them across. Only 1 medevac for now. He will rally another one momentarily, but this is a big surprise attack, guys. So he's gonna go maybe 6 Hellbats, 20 Marines with stim. Isn't even making combat shields right now. He's just focusing on setting up for this attack while slowly adding some more gases and landing his 3rd base. So the thing is, you need Banelings against this as Armani. Just 2 Hellions and some Marines. He's purposely not showing the rest, but now they arrive. There we go. Hellbats show themselves. Banelings morph. Armani's like, oh crap, thank God I built that Baneling nest, but I need to buy time right now. I need to buy time. The Marines getting on top. The Banelings aren't quite ready. The extra Zerglings aren't here. Where is the Zergling count? Armani just got a little bit greedy, trying to get that worker count up, like we said, to maintain parity with the 3rd command center. But oh damn, this is a scary assault. The Banelings are all out now. He does defend the third. Only 4 workers, so I think overall a good defense. But sniping another queen there. And Clem goes to the next stage. Double engineering bay on the way. He's only on 3 barracks, though. Remember, this does delay him quite a bit. And he's actually going to swap into Widow Mine drops. Ooh, you cheeky bastard. Okay, he's going to go for a quick 4th command center. So he's going to start 1-1 upgrades. And he might even start a 4th command center before getting his 4th and 5th barracks. I normally don't see Clem do that. That's something Dream does a lot. Some of the other Terrans, like Cure, sometimes will do that, where he says, look, I'm just going to keep dropping Widow Mines. But actually, no, yeah, Clem just joins them with his army. Okay, he swaps over, going for a much more classic setup. He's not going to do that non-stop Widow Mine drop super macro style that we've seen gain popularity. That's a style where you don't do any classic ground attacks until like 180 supply. Clem. Oh no, Clem! A huge mistake right now. Unit standing on the depot. Oh, he does have 2 Hellbats in the third. Okay, that's good that he left those 2 Hellbats behind. So we had a little bit of insurance ready for this. Uh-oh, Widow Mine's exposed on the front. Neither of them managing to fire off there. Bane Speed's not ready. He's got way too many Banelings. Why is Armani making more Banelings right now? You need more Zerglings, not Banelings. Armani, he's already got more Banelings than he needs. He's going to lose his 4th base. Armani with a huge mistake here. His Zergling production is just not being quite right. He sent all of his Lings across the map for the run-by, and he was making even more Banes there. When Bane Speed's ready, I guess you can use that to survive, but now, losing that hatchery, he's got to transfer the drones there. He's still got 3 bases up, but he's down a handful of workers. If this gets cancelled again, oh no, his army. You got to keep it in position, dude. If he loses this again, he's going to be so mad. Nice hot pickup. 4th command center is now on the way, and what makes us happy as Clem fans is that 2nd factory. He's not going to sit on a silly 8 barracks, just single tank production all in. He's taken the 4th command center. He's got the 2nd factory. He does have the armory finished, of course, from earlier, so 2-2 can start straight away. Meanwhile, a Hydra transition, and he actually gets scanned. Wow. Maybe he knows that Armani tends to put tech behind his natural. So he knows to scan that base to see what tech there is. Triple drop on the south. We got a triple drop on the north as well. So 2 triple drops. Oh, he does not see these Banelings morphing. So you can notice he's queued those to try to run in. Because he hasn't seen the depot, though, they will turn around. And the SCV that was building the depots just happens to walk past the Banelings. I don't know if Clem realized, because he's microing these drops around. The queens are trying to corner them. The spores are trying to zone them out. He stims in on the north. Is he going to get another hatch? No, the Banelings are there. Okay, he'll pick off a few maybe before he leaves, but just leaves 2 Marines on the ground on purpose. Banelings run into the third. They only get the depots and set a refinery on fire, though. 2 SCVs, not what they were looking for. Does pull a bit of Clem's attention away, but only a little bit. And I keep talking about how Armani is doing way too much of one control group running around. He keeps doing this over and over. It's actually predictable the way Clem splits his army. And yet, why has Armani not left units here with his queens? Queens on their own are just going to die to those Marines. He's constantly out of position. And this is the same thing that caused him trouble in his earlier games as well. Armani has just not built a structure of splitting his army ahead of time. You have to pre-split. When you're playing against this style, as a ZERG player, you should have a 3rd army group. But it feels to me like Armani doesn't even have one available. Okay. He's got queens on 2, main army on 1, his defense queens, that is, and he's got this little squad up here in the main base. So he's really worried about drops in the south, but there's actually nothing there. So he has split a squad off. He's just not got them in position, and now Clem easily moves across the map. And look at these tank positions, wedged in behind the rocks now. He's setting up a nice flank on the north. There's Armani. There's not that many tanks here. This might be over-eager from Clem. Those Hydras doing pretty well on the south. They do have groove spines. They don't have muscular organs yet, but watch for those Banelings finishing on the side. There's not enough Zerglings, though. Only 44 Lings. I don't think that's enough. He's going to roll in, but he's very clumped on the back, and when you don't quite have enough Zerglings with your Banelings, they clump up really bad, and he gets rid of a tank and a few Marines. Not a good trade. Clem might be able to just barrel him over. Clem has secured a 4th base during this. He's on 84 SCVs. His 2-2 upgrades are about to kick in. Right now, he's actually down in upgrade, as the +2 carapace was much faster for Armani. But if I was Armani, I'd be securing this bottom base and preparing to abandon this. He, on the other hand, is saying, no, we've got to keep this alive or we're too far behind. It's defend this base or die trying. And Clem's saying, well, I love taking these efficient trades. Yes, please. I love baiting you into my Marines and tank line. This is awesome. Ooh, 1 Baneling hits the Marines, but 1 is not enough to seal the deal. Clem stands his ground and guns down every single other Marine. He's going to dive on forward a little bit. Lings are looking for the reinforced backstab. Maybe go and cut off the rally point, but a lot of units swelling out for Clem. He's almost got his next 3 barracks finished. He's going to be adding tech labs for Marauders, but already goodbye 4th hatch. There's just not enough banelings here. You can see the way Clem even targets his siege tanks on the banelings whenever they come in. This is a powerful, resounding show of force in Game 5. Clem almost letting this series slip away from him. But Armani not able to just defend his bases against this onslaught. It came with that first attack. I thought he defended okay at first, but losing the 4th hatch on the wave that came afterwards was not very good. Oh, is he finally going to push him back? Oh, there's just so many Marines and he's so far off creep. Now the banelings are gone. And that medevac count, 10, 11 medevacs here in the front. 2-2 Marines up against 2-2 Zerglings. The Hydras don't have any upgrades though. He's continuing to try to retake this base. Clem keeps scanning the bottom and saying, hey, if you don't have that base, you really are screwed. The Liberators even join in and siege up here. The Hydras take him out pretty quickly. But he's still got tanks coming in. He's still building tanks 2 at a time. A wise choice. I kept talking about Widow Mines earlier in this series. That's good against the Mutiling Bane. But if they're building Hydras or Roaches in any decent numbers, you're much better off just having siege tanks to really have that big range advantage to set them up. And those Marines, they take a couple of banelings to the face. The rest of them, they gun down. A desperate Zergling run by. It's about 20 Zerglings, and it runs into a huge rally from Clem. Armani on his last legs here, and Clem, I mean, it was a scary moment. I really think it could have been a 3-0, but just underestimating that Roach Ravager push. He almost let Game 2 slip away as well. Remember, with the Tunneling Claw Roach aggression. But at the end of the day, slip, slap, slop. Clem wipes that Zerg off the face of the map. GG, well played.